right, so here we are. The dough I took out of the fridge about an hour ago so it could come to room temperature. I just gonna get that out of there. You can see it's quite large. We want to prepare the pan. I'm just going to put a little bit of olive oil in there and rub that around. I'm going to set that aside for just a minute while we prep our dough. You need a little more flour just so it doesn't stick to your counter or your hands. All right, so see about getting this rolled out. This is actually the hardest part for me. Pizza dough is elastic and it just wants to get back into a small piece. So kind of do a mixture of pulling and rolling. If we were professionals, we'd throw it up in the air, but I'm not a professional. Once we get it kind of thin or big enough, we can transfer it to the pan, and that will allow us to kind of work it around to where we want it. This is fairly thick, so I may cut off a piece. I don't want the pizza quite this thick. And we can make, this recipe will actually make 2 good size round pizzas. This is a pretty big pan, so we're doing a deep dish and a thick crust, and we can still trim this if it feels like it's too thick. It's kind of up to you how thick you want the crust. And again, you can cut off and trim some. Make yourself a lunch-size pie for later. That sounds like our oven's heated up. You do want to start your oven heating when you first start this because it needs to heat to 500 degrees. That's pretty high of a temperature. Your oven's going to need some time probably on that. And I'm still trimming this up a bit. No exact science to this. I've tried rolling pins, I've tried just pulling it. It's kind of whatever works for you, just arrange it. This would probably also make a whole cookie sheet size pizza. But for this one, we're going to do kind of a deep dish pizza. See how we like that. And that's why I greased the sides of this pan also. All right. I think I've nearly got it where I want it. Like I said, this is the hardest part, I think. Just making sure you get it all rolled out with no thin spots. And we're going to add some sauce. pizza. It's kind of however much you want on there, whatever your favorite sauce is. We're just using a generic bottled pizza sauce. We've occasionally used spaghetti sauce. And we're doing our favorite pizza, which is pepperoni and mushroom. Pretty basic. All right, what do you think? Is that enough sauce? Don't want to get too much. It'll make the crust soggy. Got some pepperoni here. You can also use sausage. You can use ham if you got leftover bacon. Nobody has leftover bacon, but if you do, you can put that on it. It's really up to you what you want to put on it, how much you want to put on it. We like ours nice and full. So it takes a good amount of pepperoni and toppings. Just gonna put that on there until we got as much as we want. This is a little bit slower than your favorite pizza place, but definitely way yummier, and the crust is super easy. It also freezes well. We've done things where we made up half the dough into a pizza, froze the rest. It freezes really nice. And you just thaw it out, bring it to room temperature. All right, we've got pepperoni. I like usually fresh mushrooms, but we had canned, so we're going with canned. Also can put things like black olives on here. Squeeze those out a little bit. Make sure they're well drained. All right, and then once that's done, a little bit of Parmesan cheese on there, just because we like it. Also put just a sprinkle of Colby Jack cheese. Just adds a little extra flavor to it. And the final topping, plenty of mozzarella cheese. This is the finely shredded. I like that because it melts really well, clumps a little, so you have to kind of pull it apart. Make sure it's on there to the edge. It's a benefit of this pan, I think. Normally I am sending things right over the edge, but this pan contains all the mess. Now, when this is all done, we've got our oven already heated up to 500 degrees, and we're gonna bake it 8 to 10 minutes. I'll post a picture of that on Facebook if you'd like to see. And there you go. It's all ready to go, and the dog's waiting for a few pieces of cheese because he always gets a piece. But we are done and ready for the oven.